Yo, what's good? This is Casey for L King Self for Life Wrestling Takes, and you're now watching Casey for L Wrestling Takes Show. What's good, fam? This your boy Casey Phil, King Self for Life Wrestling Takes. The entire world has already reacted. Your man is a day later, and you know what? I like being a day later because I can sit on everything I witness, gather my thoughts, come to you with a unbiased, fair analysis of the entire pay-per-view from the pre-show to the very end of the show. And I walked away full gear once again. TK is the king of the pay-per-views, but we got some issues that took place on this show. One being the match that you're looking at. Wrestling wise, it's a good wrestling match that you're looking at. But the match was overbooked through and through. The wackiest of the wackiness, foolishness that shouldn't have taken place. Not only going into this match, but the match itself. We're going to break down a whole lot of stuff. I've even seen people online already hating on the man Swerve and Hangman's outstanding death match. That was one of the best death matches I've ever seen in my life. And I was on the edge of my seat. Them clowns was beating the crap out of each other. I mean, man, a made man was made. Ladies and gentlemen, your boy Swerve is pitching his tent to become the first AEW Black World Heavyweight Champion. Come 2024, the man is pitching his tent right now, ladies and gentlemen. He's doing everything in his power to get over in this arena, in this company, with the higher ups, TK and whoever else is calling the shots, would say, you know what, this is the guy that we could put the strap on going into 2024 and on. This is the guy. And ladies and gentlemen, there are 5 other cats just like him if you get behind them. Ricky Starks, Keith Lee, Will Hobbs, Shane Taylor, Lee Moriarty. Who else am I leaving out? You can get behind them if you spend the time building them up. If you spend the time, we can have our solid 6. Cats can say, look, boom, just like how WWE got, I want to say WWE has a total of, 5 WWE, World Heavyweight Championship, whatever you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? Brothers that won. You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. Swerve can be our very first. I was going with Will Hobbs, but this is going to look like it's going to be Swerve. But we got a breakthrough with the women's. I know some cast is not really on the Julia Hart train or whatever, but ladies and gentlemen, storylines can start because both heels won the women's titles. Tony won hers, Julia Hart won hers. Ladies and gentlemen, breakthroughs have started with the women's division. We are looking for story. All I care about with this company is the stories. I don't care about none of the crazy wrestling because you know we're going to get fantastic wrestling. You know we are. It's about the stories that matter. Things making sense. That's it. Now, as always, pay-per-views are way too long, in my honest take. You didn't need to have 11 matches on the show, Tony Khan. You could have kept Eddie Kingston and Jay White, saved it for Final Battle. You could have kept Claudio and Buddy Matthews, saved that for Collision. And the stipulation is whoever wins gets added to this Continental Conference or whatever tournament that's going on. Put the stipulation and make it on Collision and make it mean something. Instead of just being a throwaway match on the pay-per-view that has no build or no nothing. Nothing. That's why I say less is more. We could have probably been done, instead of getting done at about 11 something, we could have been done with this pay-per-view at exactly 10:30 on the spot. Easy. Real easy. If you wanted to continue to do the wacky foolishness that you did with them, fine. But I'm talking about less is more. Less is more. That's what I'm talking about. The one thing H does right, H gets the less is more right, but sometimes he can at least add a match or two. I'll tolerate 7 matches on H's part on any of the random regular pay-per-views that he have. Like, Survivor Series needs to at least get one more match, and I believe we will. I think we get Nakamura versus Randy Orton because it looked like Cody then made his decision on who he wants to join Team Cody, and it looked like it's going to be LA Knight. I could be wrong. It's 2 left shoes, and somehow, some way, it's the man CM Punk. We don't know, but we're going to find out coming this week, next weekend. But yeah, we getting ready to break down this pay-per-view. I thought it was a solid pay-per-view. Just way too long, and it was too much overbooking to happen. Listen, I get it. You're trying to get your WWE on. You're trying to get your sports entertainment on. You're trying to make this back. Because listen, everybody and their grandma knew that MJF was going to win. Every single one of us. But you tried to make it a predictable match, unpredictability with all the overbooking. And I'm like, if you did maybe 1 or 2 things, everything probably would have moved swiftly. It would have went by with no problem. Like I say, straight with no chaser. But this is what TK and them, again, this is what Tony Khan and them needs to learn. Don't overbook everything. Just do something, make it make sense, and Cass is going to walk away and say, you know what, fantastic job. Like I said, from what I've seen, outside of the hardcore haters, I saw that a lot of people actually like this pay-per-view. A lot of people, even one of the biggest WWE heads I know, Mr. Ice Cube Jr., O'Shea Jackson Jr. said it himself. He said that he thought this was AEW's best pay-per-view, and he said, I am a WWE guy, hands down. That's what he said. But he said that he absolutely liked it. I said, wait, you know you're doing right when you got a hardcore WWE head telling you that you did something decent for a change. Improvement is the key. Because this is the final matchup coming up for AEW. It's called World's End. They coming out this way. They started out here for that Dynamite for out here in Chicago on Wednesday night. This needs to be the beginning of World's End. I don't need to see no Ring of Honor crap on the show. Just build up to World's End. That's all we're looking for. That's it. So let's go ahead and break down this show. California was fantastic. According to Tony Khan, there was a total of 13,000 strong. Salute to the crowd because they was hyped for the majority of the show, and I like that. Fantastic. First matchup, Eddie Kingston versus Jay White. This is actually a pretty good match, even with all the shenanigans going on with Team Jay Lethal. And, you know, mid-card Memphis piece of crap, Mrs. mid-card piece of crap. Sean J. Dutt, Sat Nassim, and even we got an Ortiz signing. But I would have saved this for Final Battle. As good as this matchup was, I would have saved this for Final Battle. This is a Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Championship match. You got another couple of weeks to build up. Don't rush it. Let Jay White get a couple of wins before he eventually loses to Eddie Kingston. That's what I'm thinking, right? Don't you want with Jay Lethal? That's right. I forgot about Jay Lethal. 7. if you want to push Jay Lethal and have him be potentially one of the few black champions that you want to put on your show. But yeah, I would have basically had Jay Lethal get a couple of wins before this, do the matchup at Final Battle, and boom, we good to go. Less is more. Less is more. Like I said, it's a good matchup, but like I said, less is more. That's it. Like I said, this is a matchup that you did not need to have on the pre-show. You didn't need to be on the pay-per-view. You didn't need to have it on the pay-per-view. I know TK is always like, I just don't want to make sure my people are upset. No, bro, you got to be a boss. You got to be a boss. You got to tell Eddie Kingston. I know you love Eddie Kingston. I know you. I guess you're cool with Jay White. I don't know. Or Jay Lethal. But tell them, listen, fellas, your matchup could be a whole lot more build-up for the people who love Ring of Honor. Let's save it for Final Battle. Boom, you got your main event. It's not that difficult. Easy money. Like I said, Ortiz, because Team Jay Lethal was basically cheating the whole time. They were cheating hard to say. Eddie Kingston was looking like he was going to lose. Ortiz came out of nowhere and saved the day and helped Eddie Kingston retain his championship. Like I said, good match. You know, the goofy shenanigans with Jay Lethal and them and Jeff Jarrett and all those clowns. But Eddie Kingston got the win thanks to Ortiz. So whatever they plan on doing after that, that's fine. Yeah, Eddie Kingston got on mic. He said some goofy stuff. I'm like, it is what it is. This matchup, save this for Collision. Build up to it. You start some stuff on Dynamite. And obviously, these two want to get their hands on each other because they weren't able to be on the pay-per-view. So you know they even ticked off, right? Well, guess what? Now that the stipulation's on the line, whoever wins gets into the AEW Intercontinental Tournament or whatever it's called. Save it for Collision. That's it. The match was decent. It was okay, but I mean, and yeah, the wrong guy won because I wanted Buddy Matthews to win, but I should have known better. I should have knew that Claudio was going to get the victory. But save this. Save it for freaking Collision and put a stipulation on it so people say, you know what? I want to see Buddy Matthews versus Claudio, and this is a TV-worthy match. It shouldn't have been on the pay-per-view. Put it on TV. Put the stipulation behind it. Who's going to win it? Boom. There you have it. It's not that difficult, but Tony Khan is, I got to make sure everybody's on the show. I got to make sure everybody's happy. No. Less is more. Say it with me, fans. Less is more. Claudio gets the victory. That's that. Then this matchup. Now, the story of everything that was going to take place in the main event begin right here. The A-Boys come out. Samoa Joe comes out. MJF comes out. And correct me if I'm wrong. Did Adam Cole come out during this match, or did he come out afterwards? Because I'm trying to remember. I mean, because first of all, didn't nobody see that man pulling up. But this was all about, can Samoa Joe and MJF work together? Can they coexist? And you know what? They actually look like a solid tag team. The whole situation was that if Samoa Joe helped MJF retain the Ring of Honor tag team titles with him and Adam Cole, he'll give him a championship shot. Now, I don't know exactly when it's going to be. I don't know. Ladies and gentlemen, I have absolutely no idea who's going to face MJF at World's End. There are a lot of stipulations, a lot of people that can end up facing him. Samoa Joe, Warlow, Swerve, whatever Adam Cole is doing. We don't know. We're going to have to find out. But the Guns were cheating. They behinds off. They were cheating. Just cheating. But somehow, some way, Samoa Joe, MJF were able to retain. So after the matchup, they beat the snot out of MJF's knee. They tore his leg up. So I'm like, oh boy. So then I believe that's when Adam Cole's music hit, and everybody was like, what is Adam Cole doing here? Coming out, this fool came out on the crutch with his foot in the boot and all this crap. I said, man, what is he even doing here, man? You supposed to be at home playing video games, right? So MJF is, quote unquote, he can't go. He can't go. They bring the stretcher out. They put him in a doggone ambulance and everything. And he told that man, whatever you do, don't let them take my championship. And Adam Cole said, I got you. I'm going to handle the business, right? So That's how we ended. We ended that, so it was just, the speculation of what the clown is going to happen into the freaking main event. So I'm like this: if you do a injury angle, right? Don't you think? Okay, maybe we had the doggone devil come out there or whatever, but I hate to say it, ladies and gentlemen, the devil was right there. The devil has been revealed. TK, you kind of overbooked yourself, and with Adam Cole, the way how he was acting, I'm saying that's the devil right there, ladies and gentlemen. It's the devil. I mean, I really don't know what else to say. I mean, the way how he was clowning, he was acting. I mean, then before the show even got started, Tony Schiavone and them came out there, and Adam Cole was with him, and Jay White was out there, and they was literally about to say the main event has been canceled, and we're going to give this championship to Jay White. I'm like, come on now. So they said, due to not being able to, not being cleared to wrestle, we're going to have Jay White versus Adam Cole. And I'm like, what kind of sense does that even make? It just makes no type of sense whatsoever. I mean, just goofiness. Just some straight up wacky of the wackest. I'm like, this feel like this is straight out of the Vince McMahon book. This is straight out of a Vince McMahon playbook. I don't know what they was thinking about that. I don't know if they thought this was going to be executed great, but it wasn't. So, I'm telling you, so that's that. So we move into the very first matchup. We get Adam Copeland, Darby Allin, Sting versus the Patriarch, which is Christian Cage, Luchasaurus, and Nick Wayne. And Ric Flair was with Adam Copeland now. Adam Copeland came out with the face paint just like the rest of them. This was a very good trios match. Very good. It makes me wonder, why the heck couldn't we just save them from being in the trios match already and let them come out here and do work? Everybody did work. I mean, this is a great match. It was, like I said, it started off kind of slow. Now, I didn't really care to see Ric Flair out there, but his behind was going to be out there. The story of this whole thing was Adam Copeland and Christian can't touch. And from the little bit that they were trying to do, I get what they were trying to go with it, because Fool's been complaining and said, well, I don't really care about these two going at it because they can really link up right now. And I said, Tony Khan, the whole game is to play this thing up. A lot of people think maybe this goes into next year going all in, because that's all TK and them just keep talking about, all in, all in. I'm like, we 1 year away from that pay-per-view, and that's all you focusing on. But everybody was getting his in. Lucha was getting his licks in. Nick Wayne, Darby doing stuff. Sting clowning, jumping off of crap. I mean, you know what you're going to get. And towards the end of the match, Christian Cage just said he had enough. He left his squad hanging. So the storyline right now is going to be Luchasaurus being upset with Christian Cage. Nick Wayne, I don't know. But Lucha has a legitimate gripe to be upset with Christian Cage. That man left them boys hanging. And Sting, Darby, and Edge, a.k.a. Adam Copeland, beat the brakes off of Lucha and them. Got the 1, 2, 3. I said, ladies and gentlemen, that's how you do it. Christian Cage shouldn't have been getting pinned. He's the TNT champion. He should not be getting pinned. That man disappeared. He left off. Great. Great booking. I thought this was fantastic opener. They did a great job. The right team went over. I said, as long as Christian don't get pinned, I'm good. So I just talked about this. I talked about this over the top booking. This didn't make no type of sense. Didn't make one lick of sense at all. How a man that's on crutches is gonna try to wrestle? No, what they should have said was, we're gonna keep you posted on MJF throughout the show. We're not gonna sit up here and cancel no match. We're not gonna try to have Adam Cole in there trying to wrestle on one foot. It makes no sense. First of all, how the heck is somebody on crutches? Like, what kind of sense does that make? How do you clear somebody on crutches, but you can't clear the man who's finna basically fake an injury? Stuff is just not adding up. It's not making sense, man. Like I said, this whole thing was out of whack. I get what they were trying to do, trying to take the predictability out of it, try to make it seem like, okay, Jay White got an opportunity to win this. This should be easy work for him. The Guns did the dirty work. They annihilated that man's knee. So how the heck is he going to come out here and try to get the job done? He should have just been in the back the whole day. And what they could have done, they could have showed Adam and MJF basically just talking to one another, and him just coping and, I'm going out there. And then he could have said, I'll take it. No, you're not taking my spot. I'm going to defeat and get my championship back. They could have done that. I think I would have accepted that a whole lot better than them basically ripping MJF face off the doggone poster with Jay White, putting Adam Cole face on there on some real silly stuff. I'm like, just goofy. Over the top booking. Unnecessary, man. TK, unnecessary, bro. Learn from your mistakes, man. Learn from your mistakes. That's all I'm going to say. Moxley versus Cassidy for the AEW International Championship. Part 1 was good. I thought part 2 was good. You know that these two, listen, let me tell you something. We know Moxley love to get busted open. And guess what? Mox was bleeding all over the place. OC was bleeding all over the place. But like I told y'all, because what happened on Dynamite, they told you exactly who was winning. Now, to my Moxley heads, I know y'all upset. Y'all are upset that Moxley has been losing like crazy. But do y'all understand Moxley is the one that has pretty much creative control of his character and when he wins or loses? Moxley is the one that's deciding this. Ain't got nothing to do with TK. To my John Moxley hardcore heads, your boy is trying to put everybody else over. Moxley did his thing 2 years ago. He was carrying this company on his back. Ladies and gentlemen, he's trying to put over everybody else. OC beating Moxley basically solidified OC being in the main event title picture. It literally solidified it. I mean, as much as this dude is overexposed, I sometimes wish the man would take a break. I sometimes wish he wouldn't be on the show. But Tony Khan just overexposed Orange Cassidy, and he's always opening the show. And I'm like, that's when cats like myself really don't care about OC because he's overexposed. You listen. I thought the match was good. I'm like I said, for somebody like I said who is tired of the man being out there overexposed all the time, him and Moxley did a great job. They did a great job, man. They told a great story. This was, can OC overcome the mighty Moxley? Because the last time these two wrestled, Moxley murdered OC. This was that all out. He murdered that man, and he tried to murder him again. But OC wasn't going this time. No, OC was prepared. He came prepared for Moxley. He was prepared. And he retains his championship. So now the storyline for the AEW International Championship, who in the world would you have take that title off him? Ladies and gentlemen, maybe the Takeshita story begins now. Because I heard a lot of people talking about Swerve and everything. I'm like, no, Swerve didn't already solidify himself to going up for the main title right now. Excuse me. Takeshita and the AEW International Championship should be the number one goal on Tony Khan's booking mind right now. The story of how the heck we get from dealing with the Young Bucks and Kenny and Jericho to dealing with OC and company. That is the new storyline that should be going into World's End. And at World's End, ladies and gentlemen, I'm doing OC versus Takeshita, and Takeshita is walking out as your new AEW International Champion. That's what I'm doing, ladies and gentlemen. I'm doing it. That's what I'm doing. I don't know how you feel about it, but that's what I would be booking. That would be my number one goal, is to get Takeshita dealing with OC. Because Moxley and OC are done. It's over now. It's time for Moxley to go move on and do something else. Willa, yes, right. Hook and Willa Yuta was out there. They was still beefing, so I guess they want to keep that going. Like I said, then talk about this goofy stuff right here. They announced the next person to be a part of the Continental Classic, Mark Briscoe. He had cut a promo, talk about he can't wait to get involved and do work. Great. Like I said, this Continental Classic thing needs to be nothing but heavyweights in it. I don't want no jobbers. I don't want no clowns that don't have no business being in it. I want nothing but primetime players to be involved in this. And like I said, this thing needs to be filled with stories like crazy. If you want this thing to work, it needs to be filled with story. Now, Hikaru Shida versus Toni Storm for the AEW Women's Championship. Now, I thought that the young lady Mariah was going to be getting involved, but there was a lot of... Let me tell y'all something. Arby is great. I'm talking about, the referee. She's great, but sometimes Arby just be allowing stuff to go right over her face, right over her head. She be looking at the cheating that's going on, and she don't do nothing about it. Tony Storm had the doggone mirror, whatever she had, and I'm like, the girl just put it in her backside. You see that thing hanging out of her backside? How the heck you see it and acting like it ain't nothing there? That's what I say. Listen, the match was good. It was a good match, but it was a lot of overbooking. This had a lot of overbooking, and like I say, Aubrey not paying attention, being goofy and all. I'm like, no. I'm like, come on now. Like, you see the girl cheating up behind though. You see her cheating her tail off like crazy. Ladies and gentlemen, I told y'all every day, I'm a Sheeta head. I'm always gonna rock with Sheeta. I know certain cats don't like Sheeta. I know they don't, but Sheeta, that's my girl. But I told y'all, Sheeta is a enhancement talent. Well, let me say it like this. She's an enhancement champion. That's all she is, because she wins the title, then she loses the championship. Transition. That's what enhancement champion is a transitional champion. Sheeta is a workhorse transitional champion because she wins and then she ends up losing. And I said, Tony Storm is doing the best character work right now. You reward the best character work with your championship, and she's a heel. Guess what? It makes the babyface storyline that much better. I told you, when heels win titles, the storyline of the babyface chasing is that much better, because for some strange reason, when the babyface has a title, they act like they have no clue to make compelling storylines. I don't get it. I don't know why, but time is up. We got it. Tony Storm got it done. She had that goofy little mirror thing, pulled it out her backside, whacked Cheetah in the head with it. Aubrey was acting like she didn't see nothing. That boy Luther was out there. And I'm like, and Tony Storm got the victory. I was excited. I said, yes. I said, okay, ladies and gentlemen. I said, Tony Khan, please make compelling stories now. You got the top heel right now with the best character work as your AEW Women's Champion. The storylines must begin now with the women. There is no more games. We're not coming here with the excuses. I'm not coming here with the excuses. I know the cats who review this stuff, like my main man King Mike and them. We're not playing, y'all. Listen, Tony, we're not playing with you, bro. We ain't playing. You can play. You can be fooled all you want, but we're not playing no more. The game is up. You put it on Tony. Fantastic job. Everybody wanted her to win. We're happy. We're excited. Now, the storylines begin now. Whatever you plan on doing, the stories begin now. Mariah girl, she came out at the end. She gave her flowers. I said, okay, if this is a story that's going to be breaded, where Mariah will be the one to take this title off of Tony in the long run, fine. I don't have a problem with it. But Mariah must be built up to be a credible foe. She must be built up to become a credible foe. This is not a game no more. This ain't a game. That's all I'm going to say. This ain't a game. Okay, so, like I said, I just talked about that. So, backstage, Renee Burkett was talking to Eddie. Eddie said that he's putting all his championships on the line. And now, this is where it was very confusing to me. Because I set up and said, like, Tony Khan, bro, we already got 18 million titles in this company. We don't need another championship. I don't know if this is a trophy or something. I don't know. But I'm literally like TK. You don't need another title. We already got the titles that we have right now, and you having a hard time trying to book them championships. We don't need another irrelevant championship. That's what I say, man. Like, bro, what you could have said was, he just put his 2 titles on the line, and whoever wins this whole thing gets a shot for the main or something, But we'll see. I don't know what this means. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know. Because like I said, TK always doing some goofy stuff. Matter of fact, he made some crazy statement talking about you get ready to get your money's worth or some foolishness. I'm like, man, this fool always saying something goofy. This clown is always saying something goofy. But I'm like, it is what it is. So we get to the next match at the time, which I thought this match was going to be the match of the night, because at the time, after it finished, I was saying it was the match of the night. The AEW Tag Team Championships defended in a fatal 4-way ladder match. Now, ladies and gentlemen, throughout the show, AEW decided to do their own little version of how WWE do when they show the titles and they make them big into like this big image and they show it. I thought that was pretty cool. All the championships got that design for them. Every single one of them was like a little highlight. You remember how they used to do the WWE Championship, the World Heavyweight Championship, the Women's Championship, the Tag Team titles over in WWE land. They kind of decided, okay, we're going to kind of do that. And you know what? I liked it. I thought that was pretty dope. This was a crazy ladder match. It started off slow. Big Bill, Ricky Starks, FTR, Kings of the Black Throne, and LFI. Started off slow, but these clowns was just whacking each other, running into ladders, getting slammed in the ladders. I mean, it was a crash course. It was a crash course. These clowns, I'm telling y'all, they was all over the place. And I'm sitting up here watching this. Literally every team had an opportunity to win this. Like, when I watched this matchup, I really didn't know if Big Bill and Ricky was going to retain. I told you that I had them retaining, but I didn't know. And like I said, that's what makes a ladder match good, when you don't know who's going to win. And everybody comes to work. Everybody showed up. Cash Wheeler showed up. Dax showed up. Brody, Malachi, Drilistico, Roosh, Big Bill, Rick Day. Everybody showed up. They showed up. Everybody showcased why they should have won these tag team titles last night. And, I mean, just like I said, crash course. This was a crash course out of this world. Clowns flying through ladders and stuff. I said, this is nuts. It's insane. And ladies and gentlemen, my boys, they walked in and they walked out. Big Bill and Ricky Starks are still your AEW tag team champs. And I said, that is the right move, the right call, because I said it didn't make no sense to put the titles on them just for them to lose them at the pay-per-view. Didn't make no sense. I'm glad they won. Like I said, before we get to the matchup we're going to talk about, this was my match of the night at the time. This was great. I loved it. It was great. So we get to the women, the second women's match, which is Julia Hart, Chris Statlander, and Sky Blue for the AEW TBS Championship. Now, the TBS title had a little bit more of a story than the AEW Women's Championship. But let me tell y'all something. I know there's some cats that's not really too big on Julia Hart. But let me tell you something. Look at Chris. Look, we know how good Chris is. It's just the character work for Chris. Chris is a fantastic wrestler. The girl is great. But I said she can't walk out here with this championship. She can't. She got to either give it to Julia Hart or she got to give it to Sky Blue. And there were times when Sky was going to win. There were times when Chris was going to win. Julia was basically out here like, okay, I'm going to play the little spooky girl that I am, but the spookiness was kind of to her disadvantage. She was using it, but it really didn't work at times. So Chris was like just manhandling the girls left and right. And then Sky Blue out here trying to do a little something. So I'm like, I'm sitting up here, I'm watching this, I'm bent over. I'm like, all right, let's go. Let's see who's going to get this done. And ladies and gentlemen, Julia Hart came out of nowhere. And she got the job done. And ladies and gentlemen, I hate to say it, but Julia Hart is the number one piece in the House of Black right now. All three of her boys lost. Julia Hart is the one right now. If you think about it, look at the House of Black. Buddy Matthews lost. The Kings of the Black Throne, they lost too. And Julia Hart told them boys, listen, right now, you might as well call it. House of Black is pretty much AEW's version of Judgment Day, because Julia Hart is the one who has a championship while her boys have absolutely nothing. They don't have anything. And she came in, she did work, she did what she had to do, and she is now your new AEW TBS champion. And I'm sitting up here saying to myself, okay, ladies and gentlemen, just like with the AEW Women's Championship, Tony Khan, the stories begin. All we care about with the women is the character work and the story. We don't care about nothing else. I don't care about 15-minute matches with them. I don't care about them getting main events. All I care about is you telling a compelling story with the women. That's all I care about moving forward. My girl got it done. Great. I'm happy for her. Salute to Big Shotty Lee. He even made a statement on Twitter. He said, congratulations to my little witch. I'm like, it is what it is on that. But Julia Hart got the job done, and she is your new TBS champion. Congratulations, Miss Hart. All right. So we get Tony Schiavone in the ring. Again, a lot of people was online talking about this Friday night about who is coming through. And I was sitting up here saying to myself, if it's Will Ospreay, that tells me Tony Khan is one petty cat. He told Triple H, you ain't getting this cat. You ain't getting him. And ladies and gentlemen, Will Ospreay has officially signed with AEW. And listen, before then, I kind of knew he was coming because his homeboys is over here. Aussie Open, they here. So what kind of sense does it make for him to be, not go somewhere else and his boys are over here? Well, I found out WWE was going to make Will Ospreay move to the States. And he really didn't want to. So Tony Khan gave him the opportunity. You can stay in the States. You can still be independent, do whatever the heck you got to do. Your kids can still stay anywhere you're at. They go to school and out there in London and everything. And he's going to fulfill his rest of his dates on his old contract. So his old contract doesn't expire till Revolution. So at Revolution, he'll be making his, he's already debuted on AEW, but I'm talking about he'll be making his official debut as a all-time, full-time AEW superstar or whatever. It was great. The crowd went nuts. Everybody went ape. They went crazy. Great. Fantastic. Match of the freaking night. The build-up. These cats right here, extra personal. You knew this was going to be a bloodbath. But the way these two cats went at it, they murdered each other for real. They really lived up to the name Texas Deathmatch. I mean, you would have thought you was watching some old school ECW type of stuff, the way how they went at it. I mean, let me tell you something. Let's start with the entrance. So Swerve come out there. Prince Nana and the Nana-ettes, the little girls, they was out there with Nana doing the dance. Listen, I got to give it to them. The girl, they was on point with them. They was all synced in. They was doing a little goofy dance or whatever you want to call it. Swerve out there looking like he ain't about that foolishness. He about his business tonight or last night. So he get in there. He's standing around, everybody saying, whose house? Swerve's house. I mean, listen, crowd loved it. Well, he didn't even, listen, we didn't even allow Hangman's music to go off. Hangman just ran the heck up out there and started beating the snot out of Swerve. He kicked Swerve's tail all day. And then right at the beginning, this fool got a staplers and started stapling this man like crazy. Staple his nuts, staple the side of his face, staple, I mean, just some crazy stuff. I'm like, man, Hangman did. Listen, I tell y'all every day, AEW is full of vampires. Hangman really took the gimmick of being a vampire to the next level. This circus clown was drinking Swerve's blood. Like, what sick individual you are, Hangman. Hangman is a sick individual, ladies and gentlemen. This fool was literally drinking this clown's blood. What's wrong with you? What is wrong with you, man? This fool is just insane. The clown is insane. So, as of right now, it's looking like it's a one-sided matchup. Now, Swerve's turn to get opportunity. Swerve started whacking him with doggone. Got some barbed wire. Started pulled out the barbed wire chair. I mean, these two killed each other. They murdered each other. Then they was wrapping the barbed wire around each other's face. I mean, just sick. Then that man pulled out some doggone glass and jumped out. Y'all, this was a gruesome match. These cats tore each other. Listen, not to take the term away from Ratchet and Clank, but if you ever played the game Ratchet and Clank, and you know the one big gun that you know you need to get to just run through the entire game at ease, is called the Rhino. Rip ya a new one. That's exactly what both of these two fools did. They ripped each other a new one. I mean, you even had Brian Cage coming out there trying to cheat, and Hangman found a way to get rid of him. So while Hangman was being distracted with Brian Cage, Swerve snuck back in there, got that doggone brick, whacked him in the back of his head, and so he thought that was going to be the end. He said no. So remember, it's a Texas death match, so it's pretty much a last man standing match. So both of them was constantly getting counted out. They both kept jumping to their feet. I mean, just like how much punishment are these two men going to give each other? That's basically what they were doing. And so Hangman you know his whole thing is quote unquote hanging people, right? Well, guess what? Swerve saw that doggone chain, tied that thing around Hangman's neck, and quote unquote literally hung Hangman. I mean, he just sinister. Listen, when Swerve was bleeding all over the place, I mean, I said this is insane, freaking insane. I'm like, dog, if you're not ready to strap the rocket to this cat, I don't know what we're doing. Like I said, Swerve showcased that he's a tough cookie. This boy is vicious. This boy is devious, and he will do anything it takes to get a victory. He don't care. This is a side of Swerve I didn't see this side in WWE land. Like, I knew the man had potential. And then, like I said, when he was in Lucha Underground as Killshot, every time I saw him, Killshot was losing every time. Literally, Killshot lost dang near every match he was in. He may have won maybe 1 or 2 matches on Lucha Underground, but when he came up to over the NXT land, he did a little something. And then AEW right now, Swerve is on the run of his life. And salute to Hangman, because Hangman is the excellent dance partner with Swerve. Them two had chemistry out of this world. You had 2 back-to-back great matches. This one stole the ice. I mean, listen, when you got the entire world online, either they praising it or they hating on it. And speaking of hating, ladies and gentlemen, apparently there's so-called black wrestling podcaster. I might even talk about the white wrestling podcasters because you know how they feel. I'm talking about the black wrestling podcasters was dang near buck dancing, hating on this matchup, hating hard. I said, y'all, what kind of sense does that make? What is it? Oh, this is too bloody. I'm like, bro, you knew it was going to be there. These two had personal beef. These clowns had personal beef. The man pulled up into his house and was messing with his son. What you think he going to do? You know he finna try to beat the snot out this man, and that's exactly what they did. They brought it. I said, these cats, man, they brought it. I said, man, this is match of the night right here. And Swerve got the victory. 2-0, ladies and gentlemen. 2-0. 2 and freaking 0. Great. Fan flipping tastic. I can't praise this match enough. I can't. I know there are idiots online that was hating. Let them hate. This is great. This is great, and this is elevating Mr. Swerve Strickland. My man's is elevating himself, and he is stating his case why he should become the first black AEW World Champion. I'm here for it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here. Let's see. So we talk about MJF again. So we get this matchup now. Because, quote unquote, the Young Bucks really ain't had nothing else to do. So let's go ahead and start beefing with Kenny Omega and them again. So I knew Don was going to be on commentary. I said Don was probably going to end up doing some goofy stuff. But Don was pretty much on commentary, just talking all kind of crap about Chris Jericho and Kenny. But he was somewhat praising the Young Bucks. So the Bucks was basically acting heels throughout this entire matchup. It was okay. Like I said, the whole point was whoever win this is going to become the number 1 contenders for the tag team championships. So, ladies and gentlemen, your number 1 contenders for the tag team champions are Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega. The Young Bucks have lost again to Mr. Kenny Omega. They cannot beat their boy. They can't. They can't. They have lost. They lost at Revolution 3 years ago. Y'all remember, which is right now still being quoted as one of the greatest tag team matches in AEW history. This really wasn't as, I mean, it was decent, it was okay, but it wasn't as great as that one. You know what I'm saying? But everybody did work. Even Chris Jericho found a way to get busted open. Excuse me. He found a way to get busted open, you know what I'm saying? But Kenny and Chris, they won. And Young Bucks, after their match, once again, bust the temper tantrum. They was hitting the doggone ring post with a chair, just mad, upset. Like, they literally taking this whole gimmick of we're mad and we don't know what to do and we gonna cry and all this. So according to Brandon Cutler, these boys are quote unquote taking time off. That's what's being told to us by Brandon Cutler. No, I personally believe they will be back, and it wouldn't shock me if they messed around and came back at World's End and screwed over Chris and Kenny. It wouldn't shock me at all. But due to this match, Kenny kind of was acting like he was going to quote unquote turn on Jericho, which I really didn't get. But he said, no, let me go ahead and beat the snot out of Mad Nick. So, but yeah, they won. So there's right now, it's them versus Ricky and Big Bill. When does that match happen? You save that match for World's End. That is a pay-per-view match. Once again, and Ricky Starks did say, I did beat Chris Jericho twice. Ladies and gentlemen, do we drop the tag titles at World's End? It depends on how Ricky and Big Bill are booked going into World's End. That is the big question. It depends on how, because it would not shock me if Kenny and Chris win, but it depends on how they're booked. If they're booked like they don't matter, Kenny and Chris are winning them tag team titles at World's End. It's not even a question. And guess what? You know we're going to set up them versus Young Bucks one more time. You do know that, right? That's if they win the tag team titles. If they don't win the tag team titles, then I don't know what we're doing. I absolutely have no clue. But again, this is up to TK and company. This is where the so-called booking genius of quote unquote he claims he has needs to come into play. But like I said, it's right now. I'm booking World's End, Chris Jericho, Kenny Omega versus Big Bill and Ricky Starks, AEW Tag Team Championships. That is the match. You understand? We got so many matches that you can already have set up going into World's End. Listen, if you can set up at least 3 matches for World's End on Dynamite, that would be great, and hype up this. Well, okay, we getting the anticipation. World's End is going to be. Listen, the pay-per-views always be good. They just be too long, in my honest opinion. Way too long. But start the build. The build-up is the key. The build-up is the key. A lot of people always be saying Tony Khan's build-ups be weak as heck, but then the pay-per-view always end up being great. The build-up is the freaking key. That's all I care about. I just care about is how well the build-up is going to be. Because if you can, quote-unquote, give us a solid build-up, we know the pay-per-views are going to be great, then guess what? Everyone's going to say, hey, AEW's back. We won't be out here crying, spill milk, saying that, oh, it's going out of business or whatever. But it is what it is on that. Like I said, I thought it was a decent matchup. And you know what? Even with the crowd basically being gone, they made a lot of noise for this matchup. They did. On to the main event, ladies and gentlemen. Switchblade comes out first. Adam Cole comes out of nowhere on a doggone crutch. And I'm sitting up here just laughing to myself. How the clown is this fool finna try to wrestle on crutches? It makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. Before everything could even start, we heard the doggone ambulance. Check it out. It's MJF himself driving that thing. I said, I was like, they should have never changed the match name. They should have just left it alone. This man should have just stayed in the back, just stayed in the trainer's office all day long, and just get ready to go instead of quote unquote going to the doggone hospital or whatever. I'm like, overbooking like a mug, man. Just the overbooking is what takes away from the main event. Like I said, man, look, I'm 100% real with y'all. Y'all know me. Like I said, was this? I'm talking about just this match alone. Without the overbooking, I thought Jay White and MJF did an okay job. But again, you do know what this shows. This also shows that Jay White is not really ready to be in that position. I know he was the man in New Japan wrestling or whatever, but being able to be in the main event spot already, and cats are supposed to be invested in you and MJF, and then we end up doing all this cartoon comedy act crap. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, when Jay White and Juice Robinson could have won the AEW Tag Team Championships a couple of months ago at Collision against FTR, and that match, it was a 2 out of 3 falls, if I'm not mistaken, and the world was on the edge of their seat. We still sitting up here saying that was one of the best tag team matches we ever seen. Tony Khan should have pulled the trigger right there. Jay White and Juice Robinson could have quote unquote been the tag team champions as of right now, and I feel like they would have been better in that position. We don't just thrust Jay White into the main event scene right away. You understand what I'm saying? I feel like because we thrusted him into there, and it kind of shows that, okay, Jay White ain't really ready to be in that position. I'm not finna say he's not a main eventer, but based on how the whole thing came across and everything. I'm like, yeah, it's, now, like I said, some cats, they probably was like, they was ready for it. I seen a lot of people was really upset because of how the things finished. So let's go ahead and break down this thing. So remember, MJF is on a doggone hobble knee, and you got to ask yourself, how the heck is he doing all this crazy stuff? I mean, this is one of the most Hulkamania, Hulk Hogan matchups for MJF he's ever done. I mean, I watched this and I'm sitting up here and then MJF, Adam Cole is standing there with the crutches, watching everything, and I'm like, they gave it, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know who the devil is, I heaven help you. The devil was standing right there. A lot of people was like, how come they didn't reveal the devil? I said, the devil was standing right there. We all know who it is. The way Adam Cole really wanted Jay White to win this match. The man pulled out his Ring of Honor championship. He didn't even hesitate to let the man take it from him. Then he somehow had the diamond ring, and I'm like, how the heck does he even? How did he get access to MJF's diamond ring? You had to ask yourself that. So it's like the man was literally trying to help the man who put him out of commission. Because I personally, let me tell you something. What they wanted to do, they were trying to play off this deal that, okay, Adam Cole, quote unquote, can't go, but since he quote unquote can't go, he's going to try to get revenge against the cat that put him out of commission for a whole year and a half. So this is the quote unquote avenge his homeboy or his brochacho, MJF. And I'm like, I get where they were trying to go, but the overbooking it went out of whack. It was like, what the clown are we doing right here, man? Like, this is just foolish. This is cartoon comedy act. Like, call it for what it is. So, and the match was way too long. With all the cartoon comedy act crap, all the overbooking and all this crap, I'm sitting up here saying, like, dog, you didn't need to do all that. You literally didn't need to do all the foolishness that they tried. The guns, they tried to come back out there, quote unquote, get cheat. And Bryce called him, and Bryce told their behinds to get the clown up out of here. You already screwed up enough. You already messed this match up worse than what you did earlier during the day. Get your behinds up out of here. So, kicked them out. They got kicked out. So, Adam Cole is watching MJF, quote unquote, try his best to defeat Jay White. And Jay White's looking like he's going to get the victory and everything. MJF, he got him in a doggone figure four, about ready to have him tap. And Adam Cole has a doggone yellow towel as if he's ready to throw in the towel and everything. That should tell you. It's like they're giving away who it is without, quote unquote, giving it away. And I'm like, man, now how the heck are you going to revamp to getting people more excited when everybody already know who the quote unquote devil is? That's, again, an error on Tony Khan and them booking. It's a huge error. And I'm like this. So he didn't throw in the towel with all the cartoon comedy foolishness that happened. MJF found a way to beat Jay White. And you want to know what's messed up? This showcase that Jay White can't beat two handicapped men, quote unquote. Two men that were quote unquote handicapped, and he can't beat them. So a lot of people saying, oh, Jay White must be buried now. No. This just showcased, again, like I say, Jay White shouldn't even been in that position in the first place. He should have been a tag team champion for the first part. Try him in the tag team scene first. Do the tag team title run, and then eventually bring him on up here. You know what I'm saying? Because this fool had that man's title for a whole month. Run around here acting like he was the champion when we know dang well he wasn't the champion. So, like I say, the match, it was a good match. It was, listen, it did, like, I see why people say this matchup reminded me like a straight up Roman Reigns match. How does Roman Reigns matches always be? Slow, methodical, story heavy, and boom, the goofy foolishness with the cheating and all that stuff. But this time with MJF being a quote-unquote babyface, and with the shenanigans going on with Mr. Handicap Adam Cole and Jay White and all this crazy cartoon comedy crap, I'm like, but like I say, overbooking is what kind of killed the main event. Was it a good match? Yes, it was a good match. It was just long drawn out, and the overbooking took away from it. I'm being 100% with you. The overbooking of the main event took away. Everybody and their grandma was telling you what the main event should have been. It should have been Hangman and Swerve, because they demolished each other. But this right here, it took away because I was willing to give this show, if possible, I was going to give it a 9 out of 10. But because of how long it is, again, it's too long, too much overbooking foolishness, and the main event situation. They take away. That's what takes away. So I'm walking away. This is an honest to God score. This is not, I said, some people say, but no, this is unbiased, honest to God score. I walked away from Full Gear. I'm giving the pay-per-view an 8 out of 10. Still too long. Cut them 2 matches that shouldn't have been on the show. And don't overbook, but, you know, the story was setting itself up. You had everything ready to go, but the overbooking is what killed everything. Go back to the drawing board. We got Dynamite this Wednesday. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking to see where we go from here because that's the whole point. We got 2 new champions with the women. I'm just looking for story. That's all I'm looking for, ladies and gentlemen. I don't really have anything else to say. I will be back for Monday Night Raw. This is your man, KCFL, King Self for Life, Wrestler that Takes. If you watched the pay-per-view, tell me what you thought about the show. Hit the comment section up. Make sure you hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe. And also, too, I want to thank everybody. We just hit 301 subscribers. Hey, man. Listen, I can't thank y'all enough. I appreciate every single one of y'all. Even the cats that come on here and just be taking a dump and be hitting my comment section up, leaving goofy comments. I thank every single one of y'all. You cats be blessed. This your boy KCFL, King Self for Life Wrestling Takes. I'm signing out. I'll let you boy.